Hey guys, I'm back. Had a little glitch in my, I don't know if it was my internet or my finger, but um, I lost you guys. So I'm back. So let's try this again. This is Coach Bill with Fat Loss Made Easy. Hope you guys are having a great, what day is it? Wednesday today so far. So today's topic, guys, is probably a very important one um, in the respect that it's about type 2 diabetes. And so the topic today is basically is for those skeptics out there. It's for you doctors out there. It's for you health professionals out there that are actually giving the wrong advice to your clients, your patients, telling them that the root cause of type 2 diabetes cannot be reversed. And honestly, guys, that's just not true, and that's nothing new. It's been around for a long time that yes, you can reverse the root cause of type 2 diabetes, and you can reverse the root cause by naturally, without the medication, if you're given the right program. But right now, what's happening is that these professionals are not telling their clients or their patients the truth. And you guys have heard me talk about that now. I'm in groups. I'm in a couple of type 2 diabetic groups, and I've been looking at the questions that a lot of the newbies are posting about. They were just diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and they're scared. And the first thing their doctors do, of course, is put them on the medication. And so what I do is I've been just kind of asking questions like, for example, did your doctor explain to you the root cause or the major side effects of either them going on insulin or them going on a type 2 diabetic medication? And if not, why didn't he? Also, it's up to you guys who do have type 2 and you're new and you just got diagnosed with it. You need to do your research on how serious type 2 diabetes is. Now, pre-diabetes to me is just another name for type 2 diabetics. You're just setting yourself out to get to higher blood sugar issues. And you need to know what the side effects are to type 2 diabetics or diabetes. So in those groups, I'm watching. I've been watching this for, like I said, a few months now, and now it seems like in both these or all three of the groups I'm in, that 3 to 4 new people come in who were recently diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in the last 2 months every day. So what I'm saying is that they're coming on they're connecting with these other people to get information and answers on how to go forward, because apparently from what I'm seeing, all the doctors are doing is just putting them on the diabetic medication or insulin and saying, okay, this is what you take. And a lot of people are getting side effects on doing that because it's affecting their bodies, and they're getting either nauseous or feeling dizzy or breaking out in some kind of a rash, because that's just a reaction. And so they go back to the doctors, and what happens? The doctor just said, okay, let's try this medication. Like I've said in my videos in the past, guys, the outline is going to be more specific. And so if you go to my YouTube channel, type in Bill Mabry and subscribe to it, in the description section, you'll see it. It'll say more. I'm going to be putting the outline in there like I do with all my videos, almost all of them. And in that outline, especially this one today, I'll have the actual case study that actually explains how you can reverse type 2, the root cause of type 2 diabetes, which is insulin resistance, by just changing the type of food you're eating and the time you eat. That's how these modern day doctors are doing it. A lot of doctors are now switching their complete platform over to doing it naturally and getting their clients off the medication. There's some doctors that are very upset with themselves because they've been treating their patients for over 20 years wrong. And you guys know me that I like to show proof. And so I have a saying. It's called documentation will always overrule conversation. All that means in this particular topic is blood tests don't lie. That's the simplest and easiest way for me to prove that you can reverse the root cause to type 2 diabetes by just changing the type of foods you eat and the time you're eating. And it's what science has been telling us for a long time. And even if you do your own research and look up the case studies of a high-fat diet, low-carb diet versus type 2 diabetes, or going on a ketogenic diet or intermittent fasting to reverse type 2 diabetes, the research is, the case studies are in there. Now, these aren't blog posts. These are actually case studies. So what is it telling me here that I'm looking at in these groups, that 3 to 4 new people who are being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes every day? It's telling me that it's getting worse. Now, we already know that type 2 diabetes is an epidemic here in the United States among the young and the old. It's just sad how many young kids are now type 2 diabetics. And it just, you guys, the root cause, of course, is insulin resistance. That's a known fact. The driver to insulin resistance is food-driven, is hormonal, and food-driven. That's the driver. And it really is not that difficult to actually reverse it. It's not that difficult to reverse insulin resistance. That's what I'm trying to get across to these people that are making it so complicated and telling people that you need to listen to the doctors. Now, I do believe, and I'm not a doctor, I don't want to be a doctor, but I got a lot of experience under my belt working with type 2 diabetics, and I've documented their progress with actual numbers and actual pictures of their glucose readings and their ketone readings. And you guys know that, follow me, that when I'm working with a type 2 diabetic, it's very important for them to follow a GKI, which means a glucose ketone index system. That's how we know that we're lowering the blood glucose levels. And that's why we document it, so that you can show your doctor that you are lowering your blood sugar by just changing the types of foods you're eating and the time you're eating them. Last night I was at Bible study, and one of the guys asked us to pray for his mom. She just lost her foot. And that's one of the side effects of type 2 diabetes, is what they call it's a diabetic ulcers. Basically, what a diabetic ulcer is basically a flesh-eating disease is what it is. It eats the flesh up right down to the bone and gets infected, and that's what happened to her. People lose their eyes, their nerve endings. They feel issues with that. That's long term. Now, on top of the side effects of the type 2 diabetics, if you research your medication, you're going through that side effect also. So you're doubling the side effects. And science has been telling you, and doctors are telling us now also, universities are telling us that why you're going through all that, medication isn't going to work. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm not prescribing anything. But I'm giving you the facts. And the facts are backed by science. So the sad part is that she could have, at the beginning of the issue, when the issue started, she could have reversed it if she just had somebody to go to or explain to her the root cause and how to fix the root cause. Now, the topic I'm going to talk about today is documentation will always overrule conversation. So I'm currently working with a client now. I call this client win because of her success in just a short few weeks of getting her blood sugars down to a not quite normal level, but she's dropped it way down there. So I'm just going to read you what her numbers are, and then of course what she had to say. So when she first started, her blood glucose level was at 137, which basically is pre-diabetes. That's basically what it is. They say she was just in the first stage of pre-diabetes. In my opinion, pre-diabetes and type 2 diabetes are the same thing. Your blood glucose is at a dangerous level, consistency. Now, this isn't where it drops way down and goes back up again. No, this is where it stays high all the time. That's the issue. And when my clients first start out in the program, I always have them do a blood glucose reading, and I also have them do a blood ketone reading, because that's where the GFI index system, how it works. This helps me and them to see the improvement of their blood sugar and make sure that the meal plan that we gave them is affecting and lowering the blood sugar and not raising the root cause, which is insulin spiking. That's the issue. We got to get that insulin down, and that's, like I said, it's food driven. Well, she had no ketones. And so when somebody does a blood glucose reading at the very beginning, and then they do a ketone reading at the exact same time, and there's no ketone readings, and her blood sugar is 137, that also has an effect and gives me information that they have some stage of fatty liver. And that's another issue. Fatty liver disease is known as a silent killer. A lot of people who are overweight don't even realize they have a fatty liver, and that can cause you to become pre-diabetic or a type 2 diabetic. But because she has no ketone and her insulin is so high, her insulin resistant, or her blood sugar is so high, that's telling me that her liver is not functioning efficiently. And a lot of times I'll ask this question when I'm first starting out with a client who has type 2 diabetes or a fatty liver, is, did you get your liver checked? And some will say yes, and my liver counts are high. Well, that's telling us, or they'll do an ultrasound of their liver, and the doctor will say, yeah, you got a fatty liver. The sad part is the doctor doesn't explain to them exactly what a fatty liver means and what it could turn into if it keeps getting worse, or if you sustain a fatty liver for a long period of time. And then, because doctors are not educated in nutrition, they don't explain to them how to reverse it naturally. There's no medication that's going to reverse a fatty liver, guys. That's just it. You got to change your lifestyle. It's the only way you're going to reverse it. Well, you're not going to produce ketones or lower your blood glucose levels unless you get your liver working efficiently. And what's cool about the liver, it can reverse. You can reverse a fatty liver pretty dang fast. That's what's cool about it. How do we know? Like I said, documentation will always overrule conversation. We know by the GKI reading, the blood glucose reading, and the ketone reading, and we can watch the liver working more efficiently in stages. That's what's really cool about these GKI readings and why you have to do it. I don't see how any doctor or how any health professional can work with a type 2 diabetic or someone with a fatty liver without doing a GKI. I just don't see how it's to me, I couldn't do it because I don't want to guess. There's no way. I want to see facts. I want to see that what we're doing is working, because if it's not, we got to make changes here. Sometimes, the fatty foods that I eat and keep my glucose low and my ketones high, those same foods may not work for you. And how do I know that if I'm not monitoring it? I don't. So we got to change it. So on March 8th, she sent me over. Now in the, like I said, the description section, I actually have her reading. She texted me a picture of the monitor she's using, and the monitor automatically will calculate the GKI, which is kind of cool, and also show what her blood sugar levels were at that moment she took it and her ketones. And so you remember what I said, she just started out with the program. So when I have ebooks that I send my clients to educate them on what to expect during the program, how the steps work, and what to expect on your readings, and how quickly do they change, and understand that. Well, it takes time. You've been a carboholic for decades. Your blood sugar has been high for a long time. You've been eating carbs for your whole life, multiple meals a day. Your blood sugars, you're spiking your insulin every day, up and down, up and down. Sometimes your insulin is so high that it stays that way for 24 to 48 hours, so you're causing issues. So your body, when you change to a high-fat, low-carb diet, your body has to adjust to it. You got to give your body time. It doesn't know how to do anything yet. It doesn't know how to on the days that your carbs are 20 grams or less, and you run out of carbs to operate during the day, your body has no idea how to jump into burning, how to get into the fat cells, draw the fat out of there, and convert that into energy to run your body, or fuel, or food. Most of you that are all of you that are overweight, you got plenty of food sitting in those fat cells, just sitting there, accumulating. You need to learn how to draw into those fat pouches, draw that food out, and use that for energy, and not the food that you're eating. And that's a process that we teach our clients. But on March 8th, she sent me her picture of her reading, and her glucose dropped down to 99, below 100, which makes me happy. Anytime you drop below 100, that's a great sign. And her ketones went from 0.03 or 0.04, jumped to 0.3 to 0.5. Her ketone levels jumped to 0.9. And so, after all I've told you, what's that telling us? That's telling us that her liver is starting to wake up and starting to operate more efficiently. And that's exactly what we need to do first. We need to get that liver healthy. So her blood sugar dropped below 100. Her ketones rose to 0.09. Now, in the graph, when you're looking to be in fat burn, because when it's called ketosis, she's basically in ketosis. Now, she's not in nutritional ketosis yet. She's in ketosis though, and yes, she is. Her body is burning fat in a small amount. Okay, so then after about 2 to 3 weeks of being on a high-fat, low-carb diet, then the next phase or the next meal plan is to jump into intermittent fasting. And this is where the magic really starts. And how do we know? Documentation will always overrule communicate or conversation. So she jumped and she did a intermittent fasting, and she did an 18-hour fast, I think. Let me see what it says here. Let's see. I think she did an 18 or a 20-hour fast. So she did an 18 or a 20-hour fast. I'm not sure. That means that she didn't have any calories for 18 to 20 hours. None. So once your body uses up the carbs from the meal you had the night before, then where is it going to get energy or food to operate during those hours of no calories or while you're asleep? Well, guess what? Now it has to jump into burning fat. Well, you've been on a high-fat, low-carb diet for 2 or 3 weeks. You've acclimated your body to burning fat, so now it knows how to burn fat. See, you have to teach it how to burn fat. And now it knows how to burn fat. So it's switching over to burning your own body fat. You have plenty of food sitting in those, most of you have plenty of food sitting in those fat cells. The last video I did, I told you guys, the fat cells don't go away. They deflate. That's why people who go off their program can gain the weight back so fast and more. You just have to look up, Google what happened to all these people at The Biggest Loser. 99%, I think 99% of them gained all their weight back plus more because they weren't taught the proper way of doing it. So this was her reading on 310, a couple days later after doing intermittent fasting. Her blood sugar dropped down to 84. That's a big drop from 99 to 84. That's an excellent, excellent drop. She had no issues with any dizziness or any low blood sugar because why? Like I said, her body had acclimated to burning fat, so the body knew how to convert, how to take the fat from the fat cells, dump it in the liver, it will convert it to glucose and jump it in the blood for energy to operate throughout the week. And her ketones jumped to 1.1. When I saw this reading, what's it telling me? Why would I be excited and why should she be excited? Because it's telling us that she's reversing the fatty liver. She's reversing, her liver is now efficient. She is, with these numbers, the GKI is actually 4.2. With these numbers, she is now in nutritional ketosis, which means she's in fat burning. Basically, that's what it means. She's in fat burning. So just in a short few weeks, she went from 137 down to 84 with no real issues because she did step by step by step. And then she raised her ketones up to 1.1. You see why the GKI reading is so important to document and see the progress of what that liver is doing. And as you get deeper into your program, it even gets better. And that's why people are seeing not only their blood sugars drop so deeply and get down to a healthy, normal level consistently, but they're losing the fat inches off their body as a byproduct at the same time, because both those work together. You see, when you drop your glucose levels down in the mid-80s or less, and your ketones are 1.1 or higher consistently, you're going to lose fat inches. That's just how it works. It's just that's normal, and that's exactly what you're looking to do, right? Okay, so now, this is the issue I have, and I'm being a little more bold now when it comes to answering the questions I'm seeing on some of these sites. Now, I got to be careful because I don't want to get kicked off the site. But I had an incident a couple days ago where somebody was scared. She was a lot of these new people I'm seeing on these sites, their A1Cs are way up above 10, 11, 12, 14, which is critical. That means your blood sugar is 250 to 300, some of them. That's not good. But I did mention in this one question, I said, you need to understand the root cause of your type 2 diabetes so that you can fix it and reverse it naturally by just changing the foods you're eating and the time you eat. Ooh, boy, did that ruffle some feathers. Anyway, I got an answer back on a private message saying, Bill, you cannot reverse type 2 diabetes at all. So I went back very lovingly, and I said, well, where do you get that information at? And she said, well, I worked with a type 2 diabetic doctor in a hospital, in a hospital ward, and there was, the bottom line is they told their clients, you got to take the medication because that's the only way you're going to control it, and that's not true. I don't know, some of you that are type 2 diabetics, has the medication brought you down to 84 and 74? Absolutely not. It never will. Medication and insulin increase will only get you fatter, and it's not going to reverse it. It's not going to reverse the root cause to type 2 diabetes. Medication never will. So what I did is I went back and said, you're in the medical field. You should know how to research type 2 diabetes being reversed naturally by doing a ketogenic diet or a high-fat, low-carb diet, because it's all over the internet, and it's actually in your medical sites. A lot of my research comes from the medical sites they can go into, but they don't. They just listen to each other and say you can't reverse it, and that's absolutely not true. So what did I do? I was tired of the misinformation. I'm tired of these people telling people they have to take the medication for the rest of their lives. If they can't reverse it, it won't happen. I'm tired of it. So what did I do? I sent her some research, and I said, you need to go to there's doctors that are teaching other doctors how to do this. There's doctors that are writing books about how they've changed the lifestyle of their clients and reversing type 2. They have their own case studies, and they're just like I have my own. I document every one of my type 2 diabetic clients and with the monitoring and with the pictures of what their blood sugars. That way, if somebody comes back after me, I'll just say, you know what, here you go. Documentation will always overrule conversation. So I sent her that stuff. Never heard a word back from her at all. So why did this client that I'm working with now, why did she have the results that she did in such a short amount of time? Because she followed directions. She asked questions, because I can't help, and I mean, if there's something going on, I got to know so we can fix it. And she was consistent, and she was motivated, and of course, by seeing the results, that's going to motivate you even more. So you doctors out there, and you health professionals out there that are telling your clients you cannot reverse the root cause of type 2 diabetes, you need to get off your high horse, and you need to do your own research and look at what these other doctors are doing, like Dr. Jason Fung. If you want to see a guy who's really on top of it, go check him out. Read his books. Because you signed an oath. You signed an oath to help your clients, your patients. But you're not doing that because you're giving them wrong advice. And I'm going to read you some research that I thought was pretty interesting. So this was from the Journal of Nutrients. And Indiana University and the Department of Surgery School of Medicine in Pennsylvania. This is what they wrote, and I'm reading it right out of there. Reversing type 2 diabetes. So I'm not the only one saying reversing type 2 diabetes. This research, this case study, said the same thing. So, I mean, and if you go to Jason Fung YouTube channel, or if you buy his book, The Obesity Code or The Diabetic Code, he says the same thing, as along with many other doctors that are now doing the same program that I'm doing. So this is what it said on this journal. It said, This review examines the evidence for type 2 reversal using surgery. Remember when somebody had a type or obesity, or because if you're type 2 diabetic, you're overweight. Basically, that's how they relate obesity with type 2 diabetes. So what's the first thing the doctors say? Do that surgery that takes out some of the intestines so you can't do what? You can't eat as much. That was common. And they also said another way to treat type 2 diabetes back then was a high-fat, low-carb diet or carbohydrate restrictions. Well, the surgery has been recommended for the treatment of type 2 diabetes for years. That's the first thing the doctor would recommend for someone to do. Both the American Diabetes Association and the European Diabetes Association now recommend the high-fat, low-carb diet. So that just shows that those doctors out there and those health professionals that are boo-hooing a high-fat, low-carb diet to reverse the root cause of insulin or of type 2 diabetes just shows that you're wrong. You're not doing your research, and you're not doing your patients or clients anything good, because you're giving them bad, wrong information, and you're not telling them the truth about the side effects of the medication they are on. They need to know that, and it's really up to you guys who are type 2 diabetics to take the responsibility of your own health. Doctors are humans. They make mistakes too. It's getting better. More and more doctors are actually changing their platform to what I'm talking about. Okay? So that alone, that research alone should show you what I'm saying is science-backed. And of course, on my YouTube or in the description, I'll put other science in there. So if you guys know somebody, or if you have a family member that has type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes or fatty liver, you love your family, you love your friends, send them this video. Give them the information so that they can reverse it. Because it seems like that the professionals aren't letting people know about it. Not enough of them. There are a few now, there are a few, but there's just more that aren't. And give them a chance to live a healthier life forever long they have left on this planet. But give them a chance. And you can message me at drinknatureswater@gmail.com if you want more information on the program that we offer for type 2 diabetics, or I actually will show you some documentation myself just to show you that this is all up and up. Okay, guys? So guys, like I said, you can go to my YouTube channel, type in Bill Mabry, subscribe to it. Check out the description section. The outline will be in there, more specific with the research also, a few of them. You can also go to my Facebook group page, type in Fat Loss Made Easy, and join it, because this video will be on there also, along with a lot of my fat burning recipes, that my favorite ones. So hope you guys saw some value in this. Like I said, send this out to your friends or family members that have type 2 diabetes. Give them a chance to educate themselves and let them help them reverse this very serious disease that is now an epidemic. Okay, you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys at the next video. Bye.